Heartwarming moment. Millionaire accidentally discovers his disabled daughter's incredible dance. Sam Bennett's upscale suburban home radiated success, but inside, a quiet storm brewed. Once a devoted father and husband, the millionaire entrepreneur found himself entangled in the fast-paced demands of corporate life. Meetings, investments, and endless phone calls consumed his days, blurring the line between ambition and disconnection. He sent checks to his estranged family, thinking that financial contributions sufficed for love, but the reality was a crushing emptiness. Most importantly, he had turned away from his 10-year-old daughter, Lucy, who was born with severe mobility challenges. Lucy, however, found her escape and joy in the local community center, where her passion for dance blossomed. With the support of encouraging friends and devoted teachers, she conquered her limitations on stage, captivating those who watched her transformation. While her father floundered in a cycle of success, Lucy captured the essence of happiness through movement. Her vibrant spirit never dulled, even as Sam drifted further away, lost in his world of profit and presentations. This was the lead-up to a high-profile charity gala, an event Sam loathed but felt obliged to attend. Guilt gnawed at him as he donned a tuxedo amidst a sea of glittering personalities. He faked smiles and networked like a pro, but inside, he felt isolated. Each lavishly adorned guest only reminded him of the familial love he had neglected for far too long. Moments before he settled into an evening of empty charm, a buzz from his phone shook him from his reverie. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With the video pulled up, he reluctantly looked. And there, on the screen, was Lucy, breathtaking, electric, and unstoppable force as she danced alongside her classmates. Her wheelchair momentarily forgotten, she twirled and leapt, her joy spilling over into the hearts of the audience. Sam felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes as pride surged hot and undeniable in his chest. The crowd was enraptured, silent witnesses to a breathtaking display of strength and spirit. He could see her lush red dress twirling and her face radiating pure happiness, strikingly contrasting with the elegant black tie affair surrounding him. When Lucy's eyes found his, everything around him faded away. A moment passed, suspended in time. An aching recognition exchanged between them, a unifying realization that he had missed so much. As the applause erupted, his heart raced. He felt like the room was closing in. Would he continue to let ambition barricade him from the bond he desperately yearned for? Or would he rewrite his story? They locked gazes, and Lucy's smile faded momentarily, only to be replaced with hope, an unwavering beacon in the dark storm of his heart. There, amidst a sea of wealth and success, stood the essence of real success: love, forgiveness, and family. In that critical moment, would he step up to bridge the gap he had created? The stakes had never been higher, and the entire room held its breath as he teetered on the brink of vulnerability and possibility. Sam stood frozen, the crowd around him a mere backdrop to the urgency swelling in his chest. Lucy's hopeful gaze anchored him, pulling him away from the swirling chaos of the gala. He felt the weight of all that had been lost, the birthdays missed, the whispered dreams unshared, and a little girl who had, against all odds, found her own way to shine. His heart raced. Every meticulous detail of his life, champagne flutes, bejeweled evening gowns, polished smiles, all felt like a hollow shell compared to the warmth radiating from his daughter. He took a deep breath, and the air filled his lungs differently. It held a touch of clarity and determination. Before he could second-guess himself, Sam stepped forward, breaking away from a conversation about financial projections. The thrum of music faded, and he was fully present, his mind only on Lucy. As he approached the edge of the stage, he saw her joy. Their eyes locked again, and she found the strength to smile wider, her beauty glowing brighter than the chandelier above. The music echoed in his ears, but it was drowned out by the beating of his own heart. "Lucy," he called, the urgency of his voice catching in his throat. The dance ended, and the applause morphed into a pleasant hush, a unified anticipation hanging in the air. "Dad." Lucy's voice trembled slightly, a mix of disbelief and longing filling the space between them. "I'm here," he replied, casting aside uncertainty. "I'm right here." The moment felt fragile, yet within it was an immense power. The crowd held its breath, witnessing a reconnection that had been far too long in coming. Sam could see the spark in her eyes, the reflection of what they both yearned for. The applause faded into a gentle murmur, like the world was granting them their own private moment. Then she wheeled herself forward, her little heart pounding just as loudly. "You came." The words were soft, but crackled with emotion. "I should have come sooner," he admitted, feeling tears he had buried rise again. "I didn't understand. I thought I could just provide. But I was wrong. I missed all the moments that mattered." Lucy leaned closer, the hope in her eyes growing. "Can you dance with me, Dad?" The question sent a wave of warmth through him, igniting desires he had tucked away for far too long. "I'd love to. I want to." His voice cracked under the weight of sincerity. Before he could lose his nerve, he stepped up onto the stage. Spontaneous cheers erupted from the audience as he positioned himself behind her wheelchair, the rhythm thrumming through the air like a heartbeat. Together, they moved slowly to the beat of a song, their connection igniting a spark of joy that spread through the audience. Each twirl Lucy made created a ripple of nostalgia and happiness. In that moment, as he swayed with her, Sam felt the walls he had built crumble around him, and the shame of his disappearance was washed away by the music and their laughter. That night, they danced, lost in their own world, the gala fading into mere background noise. With every movement, Sam began to understand the dance was not about perfection. It was about being present, about connection, about family. But just as the melody swelled, a sharp voice cut through their moment, breaking the spell. "Sam, what do you think you're doing?" His business partner, Nathan, stood at the edge of the stage, eyes filled with disbelief. Suddenly, Sam felt the old pull of his life creeping back, obligations and expectations threatening to suffocate the air they had just reclaimed. Would he give in to the demands of his old world, or would he finally embrace the love right in front of him? As he held Lucy close, they shared a look filled with unspoken promises. He was at a crossroads, and the decision before him loomed larger than ever. Would he choose to dance with Lucy or retreat into the shadows he had created? The music swelled, filling the air with an energy that pulsed through Sam's veins. All around him, the murmurs of the crowd faded as he faced Nathan. The man's expression was one of shock, perhaps even betrayal. Sam's heart raced, torn between the life crafted from ambition and the love that surged in this moment with Lucy. "Sam, are you really going to throw everything away for this?" Nathan's voice cut through the tension, heavy with the weight of their years-long partnership and the many sacrifices made for their business. "What do you think I'm throwing away?" Sam shot back, the fire in his belly pushing him. Lucy looked up at him, her eyes glistening with hope, trust, and something deeper that he couldn't quite name. "Your career, your reputation," Nathan replied, gesturing dramatically at the crowd, who were now fully invested in their confrontation. "This whole gala is for business, networking, and your chance to climb even higher. What does dancing with her solve?" Sam's breath quickened. The warmth that enveloped him from dancing with Lucy felt right, while Nathan's words felt like a shackle tightening. "Have you even listened to yourself? You think this is all about the money?" His voice softened, glancing back at Lucy. "It's about her, about being a father. Something I've failed at for too long." Lucy's face broke into a radiant smile, her faith in him reinvigorating his resolve. "People need to see this," Sam continued, raising his voice slightly, making sure the surrounding audience could hear his words. "They need to see what's real. This is what matters. Not the numbers, not the bottom line. It's love. It's family." With that, he turned back to Lucy, who beamed with pride in the light of his declaration. The world around them felt suspended in time. "Shall we continue?" he asked, his eyes shining with determination. Lucy nodded eagerly, and they resumed dancing, swaying softly as the music flowed around them. The audience burst into spontaneous applause, their cheers echoing off the high ceilings. Sam caught the glimmer of admiration on faces not just familiar, but weary of the same rat race he had been caught in. As they danced together, the warmth of the moment enveloped them like a cocoon. Beneath the glitz and glamour, something real was happening. He felt the laughter bubbling up, the joy blossoming within them both. But Nathan remained rooted at the edge of the stage. "This won't change a thing, Sam. You know what you're risking." His words hung in the air, heavy and oppressive. Sam felt the reality sinking in. The demands of his career and that icy grip tightened once more, pulling him back toward expectations and obligations that had dictated his life for too long. He paused, doubt creeping in. Would pursuing this connection cost him everything? But then he looked down into Lucy's eyes, and in that moment, he understood. The reckoning was not just his to face. It was theirs, together. "I don't care," Sam replied, glancing back at Nathan. "I won't let fear tie me down anymore." With that resolve, he pressed the rhythm deeper, the melody surging, their movements flowing with newfound purpose. The crowd erupted in applause, and he held Lucy tighter, letting joy seep into his skin. But just then, a familiar face emerged from the crowd, his wife, Emily. Her eyes narrowed, and something in her stance felt threatening. "Sam, we need to talk. Now." With his heart racing and uncertainty clawing at him, Sam faced the dual conflict of love and duty. What would Emily say? Would she understand? Or would this moment unravel everything he felt was finally coming together? The dance slowed, tension thickening the air between them. Sam's heart thudded in his chest, preparing for a confrontation that could either inspire harmony or ignite chaos. Would he stand firm, side by side with Lucy, or would he crumble at the weight of the past? The music still enveloped them, a bittersweet reminder of the happiness and weight that now flooded Sam's heart. Emily's presence felt like a storm front rolling in, the tension thick enough to cut. He knew he couldn't let this moment shatter into fragments of confusion and resentment. "Emily," he began, his voice uncertain as he stepped away from Lucy, the closeness between them disrupted. She looked at him, her features taut, eyes glistening with unshed emotion. "You think this is a joke? This isn't a game, Sam. We have a life, a family to think about." Her words were sharp, slicing through the applause that had just moments ago surrounded him like a warm embrace. "I know that," he replied, his heart pounding, "but I can't keep ignoring who I am or what I want." This he gestured to Lucy, who stood nearby, confused and silent. "This is real. It's everything I've wanted but was too scared to chase." Emily's expression softened for the briefest moment before hardness returned. "You think running off to chase some fantasy will fix things? What about our son, Sam? What about that?" A wave of guilt crashed over him. Their son, he was the glue that held everything together, the bridge between duty and desire. "I want to be a better father, to be present, to be whole," he admitted, the vulnerability in his voice showing a crack in the armor he had worn for too long. Lucy remained a few steps back, the warmth of their dance now replaced by an air of uncertainty. She caught his eye and gave a small nod of understanding, as if urging him to keep going. "I'm not leaving you, Emily. But I can't pretend I don't want something different, something more," Sam said, searching his wife's face for a flicker of understanding. "I want to be me, not just the businessman you married. I want to experience love outside of those corporate walls." Emily crossed her arms, her lips pursed tight. "So what? You think you can just throw everything away? Walk away from your life?" "No, I'm not walking away." Sam's voice rose, the emotion pouring out. "I want to build a life where my son sees that chasing your dreams is worth it. I want to show him what it means to fight for your happiness." Tension hung between them, suffocating. They stood as two opposing forces, each fighting for a version of what they thought was right. Lucy took a step forward, her voice soft but steady. "I don't want to come between you two. But, Sam, if you need to make a choice, I will support you no matter what." Emily's eyes darted between them, realization dawning like a slow sunrise. The crowd around them was silent, captivated. Moments dragged on, heavy with what was unsaid. "And what if I choose you?" Sam asked Emily, his heart racing, tender hope flickering in his chest. "What if I want both? Can we work toward that together?" She hesitated, emotions flickering across her face. Would she even want to meet him halfway? What would it mean to strike a balance? Sam could see the wheels turning in her mind. "Maybe," Emily finally said, her voice low. "But it will take work, Sam. You have to promise me you won't abandon what we've built. I promise. Lucy rocked softly on her heels, watching the fragile hope build or break. Sam turned to her, desperation mixing with fondness. Lucy, I don't know what this means for us, but I can't ignore the connection we have. Before Lucy could respond, another voice broke through, booming and full of authority. Sam, there you are? All attention turned to the new figure striding towards them. It was Greg, a high-ranking investor with a penchant for dramatic entrances, oblivious to the emotional firestorm brewing. Everyone has been looking for you. We need to discuss the presentation details. Sam's heart sank. The complexity of his world expanded with Greg's intrusion. The boardroom conflicts threatened to drown out the progress he was making in his personal life. Would he choose ambition, love, or try to reconcile both at once? Caught in the crosshairs of commitment and career, Sam stood at a precipice. What would he claim as his priority? How could he navigate this tidal wave of emotions without drowning? The spotlight shifted back to him, the crowd expectant. Time seemed to still, leaving him suspended between two demanding worlds. What would he decide next? The moment felt electric, the air crackling with anticipation as eyes settled on Sam. Greg's interruption had snapped the fragile tension like a taut string, and now Sam was left teetering at the edge of a daunting chasm. The pressure in his chest mounted a weight that felt almost physical. Sam stammered, caught off guard, desperately searching for something to ground him. The faces in the crowd blurred as he tried to process Greg's demand. The presentation was essential, a pivotal moment that could reshape his career. But was it worth sacrificing his truth? Sam, Emily said sharply, pulling him back. You need to handle this. We'll talk later. Her tone was steady, but the tremor in it did not go unnoticed. Yeah, right. Because that's what you want me to do, right? He replied, his voice laced with frustration. Just go back to pretending everything is fine? Something inside him was awakening, fighting against years of silence. Lucy stepped forward. Maybe it's time to shake things up? She offered gently, her eyes reflecting a quiet strength. Sam could feel her warmth radiating toward him, yet it felt like a double-edged sword. A part of him wanted to cling to her, to lean into this new possibility, while the other part wrestled with guilt and confusion. Greg misread the tension, grinning widely. Come on, Sam, we have a business to run. People are waiting for you. He gestured toward the cocktail party in the adjacent room, where laughter and light buzzed, unaware of the storm brewing in the corner. Sam took a breath, steeling himself. I'll be there in a minute, he said, not quite committing to the moment. Emily's expression was a mix of relief and frustration, the conflicting emotions mirrored in her eyes. We have to figure this out, Sam. For him, she said, her voice softer now yet edged with urgency. Our son deserves to know the truth about his father. The word truth rang like a bell in his mind. Was he ready to share that truth, to confront what had simmered beneath the surface for so long? The battle within raged on, each side vying for dominance. With a shaking breath, he faced Greg, the decision lurking dangerously close. Could we reschedule for tomorrow? Sam asked, surprising even himself. The words left his mouth like stones, heavy but liberating. The laughter in the room faded as Greg's smile faltered. Tomorrow? We have commitments, Sam. But I need to prioritize what really matters, Sam insisted, turning to face Emily and Lucy both. This was more than a decision about work. It was about his life, his family. He couldn't ignore the truth anymore. The silence was thick, filled with uncertainty and unspoken words. The crowd remained hushed, waiting. Greg crossed his arms, considering, and for a brief moment, Sam felt hopeful. Maybe this was his moment not just to reclaim his personal life, but to set a precedent for how he wanted to live moving forward. Fine, Greg eventually conceded, with a serious nod, but don't keep us waiting too long. As Greg walked away, Sam's heart raced. Anxiety twisted in his stomach, but a flicker of hope ignited. There was a crack forming, allowing light to seep through the walls he built around himself, a chance to redefine everything. Thank you, Emily said quietly, her voice laced with something approaching pride. We've got a lot to talk about, Lucy added, her gaze steady. Sam looked at both women, the weight of their expectations and support pouring into him like bright light. Could he really juggle all of this? Would his choice to step into his truth impact them both, forever changing the flow of his life? Just then, a child's laughter broke through, light and carefree, drawing everyone's eyes toward the entrance. A little girl, twirling in the foyer, her joy infectious, drew gasps from the crowd. She danced like no one was watching, oblivious to the tension hanging in the air. Her spirit a poignant reminder that pure happiness existed uncomplicated and overflowing. What if? Sam wondered aloud, captivated by the little dancer. What if I could just be happy like that? The weight of the moment pressed down again, leading him unwittingly to the next choice that would intersect his path. Just how far would he go to chase that pure happiness? He turned back to Emily and Lucy, the excitement in the air palpable. What if I showed our son how to chase dreams like that little girl? Would they join him on this wild ride? Sam felt the weight of the world lift just a fraction as he watched the little girl spin with abandon. Her laughter full of life and innocence danced through the air, filling the room with a contagious energy. It was a spark, and for the first time in a long while, he considered that maybe, just maybe, he could find that joy again. Weird, huh? Lucy spoke softly beside him, her voice barely breaking the magic of the moment. Sometimes, a child's joy reminds us what we've lost. Yeah, Sam replied, a smile creeping across his face despite the seriousness of their earlier conversation. It's pure. Simple. But simple felt too far from where he stood now. Sam faced his family, Emily's eyes searching, Lucy's unwavering support tethering him to this moment. They were in this together, yet he felt like a jigsaw piece desperately trying to fit into a puzzle that didn't quite match. What if we take a trip? Emily suggested, her brows knitting together as she contemplated their options. Just the three of us. Someplace where we can breathe and think. Like an adventure? Lucy's excitement was palpable. We could go somewhere sunny. A break from the pressure. The thought of packing up his worries and embarking on a simple getaway sent a wave of warmth through him. A family trip, Sam echoed, allowing the idea to settle. Away from this is a chance to find ourselves without distractions. If we do this, Emily spoke, her voice firm yet hopeful, we can make it a fresh start. For all of us. His heart thumped wildly in his chest. What would their son think? Sure, the idea was tempting, yet it felt irresponsible. Careers, commitments, the fear of stepping into the unknown, all the worries that gripped him like an iron vice began to creep back into his mind. But then he thought of that little girl spinning in the light, joyful and free. What if we let him see how happy we can be? Sam murmured, testing the waters like a child afraid of the deep end. What if we showed him what it means to truly enjoy life? Emily's expression softened, understanding flashing across her face. Then it's decided. We'll plan something together. Sam could hardly believe he was saying it. Yeah, let us do it. Life goes by too quickly. With newfound courage, his heart surged. Just as they began discussing possible destinations, all chatter ceased abruptly. The crowd turned, eyes widening as a strapping man approached, his presence commanding attention. It was Tom, Greg's business partner, and Sam felt the tension tighten again across the room. Hey, everyone, Tom boomed, clapping his hands together with a suddenness that startled Sam. Hope I'm not interrupting your heartfelt moment. We've got some serious issues to address right now. Numbers are falling, and I wanted to get your thoughts. The moment crackled with unease again, the carefree feeling slipping away like sand through his fingers. His heart sank, and the pressure returned. All the weight he had hoped to shake off in a carefree family weekend collided with the hard realities of life and responsibility. Sam exchanged a quick glance with Lucy and Emily. He felt the conflict building again. Was he really ready to fight for his happiness, or would he allow fear to dictate his future? Then, the little girl's laughter echoed again in his ears, a fierce reminder of what was at stake, a chance for joy. Lost in thought, he hadn't realized that Tom was still talking. We need answers, Sam. Are you with us or not? He blinked, drawing his mind back. This was it. Am I with you? The question hovered, heavy with implications. He turned to Emily and Lucy, their faces a mirror of hope and uncertainty. Did this moment mean more than just business? Could he stand firm for his family and the happiness he craved? Whatever he decided next would not only change his career, but could alter their path forward together. Let us find a way to be happy, he said finally, heart racing, as he stepped out into the unknown. But would that decision cost him more than he knew? The air was thick with tension as Tom's booming voice echoed in the room. Sam's heart raced, but suddenly the little girl's spinning in joy flashed bright in his mind. Every ounce of uncertainty was tested against her laughter, a sound so pure. It seemed to promise hope even in the most cluttered moments. Sam? Tom's voice pulled him back to reality, firm and demanding. Are you in or out? He felt the weight of expectation pressing down on him. The world he had known before felt so far away, but as he glanced at Emily, her hopeful eyes shining so bright, he knew what his choice had to be. I'm in, Sam declared, the words surprisingly steady despite the chaos brewing inside. The room seemed to shift, the tension morphing as people exchanged glances. Some nodded in approval, while others merely shifted in their seats, apprehensive. Tom smiled, but Sam couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something complicated. It was as if opening this door meant stepping into a whirlwind he might not be able to control. Suddenly, Tom turned, looking at the larger group gathered, waving his hands as if orchestrating something. Great. We'll schedule a meeting for tomorrow. Everyone needs to bring their best ideas on how to turn this around. As his colleagues began to drift back to their conversations, Sam felt a rush of betrayal through him. They were right back to the grind, one step forward, and yet he felt pushed 2 steps back. Was he supposed to find joy while fighting the current? Thoughts raced through him, the spark for moments before fading like smoke. Sam? Lucy reached out, her brow furrowed with concern. Are you okay? He could feel a creeping doubt slither into his chest. Yeah, I'm good, he replied, forcing a smile, but it felt as fragile as glass. Just thinking. Emily stepped closer, linking her arm through his. Let us take a moment. Let us find a corner to talk. The warmth of her touch pulled him back to what was important. They moved through the crowd, finding a small space where the noise faded and calmness beckoned. Sam took a deep breath, pulling in the familiar scent of wood polish and faint floral arrangements. Sam, you don't have to do this alone, Emily said softly, her voice grounded. I can help you figure this out. I want to, he admitted, the barriers within him slowly cracking. But I'm scared. Scared that if I commit to this, it'll devour me again. Then let us make it work together, she encouraged, her eyes steady. We've faced worse and come out stronger. Remember, we're a team. With each word they exchanged, the boundaries of his fears shrank. He remembered their shared laughter, the way life had woven them together. The real challenge wouldn't just lie in business. It lay in clinging to that laughter, holding it high against the impending storm. Okay, Sam breathed. I'll meet with them, but we're planning that trip too. I need to keep the light shining, our family needs it. Emily smiled, and for a moment, everything felt right. But as they turned to join the scattered crowd again, Sam couldn't shake the feeling that darkness loomed ahead. He could feel it at his back, like a predator waiting to pounce. Before he could shake off the unease, a voice echoed through the room again. And about that trip, Tom called out, now in the center of attention, the board insists we meet next week. Sam felt his gut clench. Would this be the choice that chained him back to the grind? Or would he grasp the chance to carve out a moment one where joy replaced the shadows? Let us remember what matters, he whispered to himself, determination blooming once more. But as the crowd began to buzz with renewed energy, a new unease settled in his gut. What would the board truly want from him? And how deep would they dig to find answers? The echoes of the laughter from earlier whispered faintly, a reminder of the light he desperately wanted to hold on to. But what if everything he fought for came at an unforeseen cost? Sam leaned against the wall, letting the conversation swirl around him like a distant storm. Emily's presence was a warm anchor, but the weight of expectations still bore down on him. He watched Tom explain the agenda for the upcoming meeting, his gesticulations almost theatrical. The thought of being swept into Tom's whirlwind again tightened Sam's chest. Sam, Emily's voice broke through his haze. What are you thinking? I don't know, he sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. I just keep feeling like I'm one step away from losing everything. What if they want to change everything about our plan? They can't take what matters most from you, Sam. You fought hard for this, she replied, squeezing his arm. You can do this. Just keep reminding yourself why you're here. As they stepped back into the crowd, Sam offered a half-hearted smile. The excitement in the air was palpable, but it felt alien to him. He kept replaying the moment he said I'm in, the way those words had wrapped around him like a tight band. He had hoped it meant liberation, yet here he was, feeling more like a marionette than ever. Suddenly, Lucy appeared again, her excitement contagious as she called over to them. Guys, you won't believe the ideas floating around. Everyone's really buzzing. Sam forced a smile in her direction, but the buzz felt more like a swarm of wasps. Yeah, that's great, he muttered, more to himself than her. Tom caught sight of him and waved him over. Sam, come share your thoughts. It's time to build the excitement. Sam's stomach twisted. Sharing ideas felt like standing on a high cliff, vulnerable to the wind. Maybe later. I need to clear my head. He hesitated, stepping back. Emily frowned slightly, but didn't push him. Instead, she led him toward a quieter corner again, the crowd's excited chattering fading into a muffled hum. Just breathe, Sam, she said, encouragingly. What's really bothering you? He glanced at her, at the light in her eyes that felt so heavy with worry. I love being a part of this, Em, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm going to get swallowed whole. What if I'm not enough? Enough? You're more than enough, she insisted. Remember what you said before, how we need to hold on to what matters. Your family, your happiness, those are the reasons why we're doing this. He took a deep breath, envisioning Emily's words. I just want to make sure I don't lose sight of that, especially with everything coming from the board. As she looked at him, her brow furrowed but eyes unwavering, a determination sparked within him. You know, she said lightly, breaking the tension, if all else fails, we can run away and open that bakery we've joked about forever. Sam couldn't help but chuckle. Yeah? I'd probably burn down the kitchen. Then I'll be your sous chef, she laughed, the lightness in her voice melting some of the weight inside him. But, seriously, we have to remember not to take ourselves too seriously in all this. For a moment, their laughter echoed, filling the empty space around them with warmth. But then the reality of the looming board meeting crept back in. Are you ready? Emily leaned in, searching his face for a sign of hope. Not sure, but I know one thing. He paused, swallowing hard. I'll do this for my family. We'll make our dreams happen. Just then, a loud shout cut through the laughter. A frazzled team member rushed past them, eyes wide. You guys, they're making moves I didn't see coming. The board is coming for the plans right now. Sam felt the ground shift beneath his feet, hope replaced by a rush of adrenaline. His heart pounded in his ears, drowning out the crowd. Sam, we have to get in there, Emily urged, tugging him forward. What is the next move? He whispered, his pulse racing. Suddenly, a firm hand clasped his shoulder. Tom's voice boomed. We need everyone now. With one last look at Emily, he felt the spark and shadows collide again. Would this decision define him, or would it be a step toward something brighter? Sam followed Tom into the conference room, the air thick with anticipation and dread. Every face in the room was tight, anxious. He could feel the weight of their collective worries bearing down on him like a heavy blanket. The last remnants of his earlier warmth drained away as Tom gestured for everyone to sit. All right, team, Tom announced, leaning over the table with eyes ablaze. We've had some unexpected changes, and we need to pivot quickly. Sam settled into his chair, his heart racing. He exchanged a quick glance with Emily, who sat next to him, her brows knitted with concern. It seemed they were all waiting for the other shoe to drop. We have the board on our backs, Tom continued, his voice steady. They've decided to prioritize a different direction. We need to offer them something fresh, something that'll catch their attention. Sam felt the color drain from his face. Different direction? What does that mean for our project? He tried to keep his voice steady, but it trembled slightly. It means they might want to scrap everything we've been working on, said Lucy, her voice nearly a whisper. They want something flashy, a complete 180. The words hit Sam like a punch. But we've already made significant progress. We can't just throw that away. Tom nodded, rubbing his forehead. I know, but if we don't adapt, we risk everything. Emily leaned in closer, her hand brushing against Sam's arm. He could feel her warmth seep into his skin, giving him an ounce of strength. What if we just show them the heart of our project? She suggested softly. It's not just about the flash, it's about connection, purpose. Maybe we need to remind them why we started this in the first place. The room went quiet for a moment, processing her words. Sam could see flickers of understanding sparking among his teammates. They didn't just want to be seen as a group chasing numbers. They craved something more meaningful. But how do we do that? Tom asked, a hint of desperation in his tone. Sam took a breath, his mind racing. What if we highlight our core values? Focus on stories over statistics? Share real testimonials from people who benefited from our work? Exactly, Lucy exclaimed, her eyes lighting up. If they see the human element, they might reconsider. Tom considered their suggestions, his posture softening slightly. All right, let us put together a presentation that shines a light on why our project matters. We'll show the board what's at stake. As they began to brainstorm and collaborate again, Sam could feel a glimmer of hope creeping back in. Ideas bounced around the room, each one sparking excitement. For the first time that evening, he felt like part of a team again, not just a cog in a machine. Emily smiled at him, and it felt as if she was sharing a secret promise. We'll get through this together. But just when the momentum seemed to surge, the door swung open. A board member stepped in, his expression unreadable. We need to talk. You've got 10 minutes to present your new strategy. The air thickened with urgency as they scrambled to gather their materials. Sam's heart raced again. Would they have enough time to prepare? Would the board even listen? Let us focus on our purpose, our heart, Emily whispered to him, her presence grounding him as he nodded, steeling himself for what lay ahead. Each step toward the front of the room felt heavier, but determination coursed through him. This was a chance to fight for everything they built. Would this effort make a difference, or were they already too late? The moment of truth had arrived, and Sam could only hope they were ready to share their story. The air in the boardroom buzzed with tension. Sam stood at the front, his heart pounding. Emily arranged the presentation slides, her fingers nervous but deliberate. Lucy sat nearby, holding her breath, her determination palpable as she eyed Sam with unwavering support. This time, they wouldn't just present numbers, they would present their story, their truth. As the board members entered, Sam felt the heaviness of their gaze. The sharp suits, the cold glances, but in his chest, warmth flickered, no longer detached from what mattered. With each passing second, he understood that this wasn't just a business presentation. This was a plea for humanity layered beneath cold statistics, a call for connection, love, and family. Good afternoon, Tom began, his tone serious. We're here to present a new direction that embodies our core values. It's not just about our project's numbers, it's about how we can make a difference in the world. With that, he nodded to Sam, who took a deep breath, stepping closer to the screen that would illuminate their mission. I believe this project means more than just profit to many of us. It touches lives, he said, his voice gaining strength. We're here because we understand that behind every statistic, every number, there's a human story. As he spoke, images of smiling faces and joyful beneficiaries flashed behind him, people who found hope through their work. Sam's eyes flicked to Emily, who smiled encouragingly, and then to Lucy, whose gaze was steady and filled with pride. For the first time, he felt unburdened and free. He was more than a businessman, he was a father fighting for change. Each graphic, each report, represents a journey, he continued. Families finding joy, children discovering opportunities. We ask ourselves every day, what does success truly mean? Is it just the revenue we generate, or is it the lives we impact? He felt the rhythm of hope pulsing through his words. He was finally finding his voice. A board member shifted, eyebrows raised. You're telling us to prioritize emotion over results? Yes, Lucy interjected, surprising everyone with her confidence. Because behind every result, there's a connection. People want to engage with something that matters. The room fell silent, captivated by her presence. As it stands, our project has the potential to reshape lives, Tom added, a newfound resilience in his tone. It's a chance to be more than just a company, it's a chance to become a community. To show that success equals love for those we serve. Eyes shifted across the room, uncertainty beginning to settle. Tension hung in the air, but the passion radiating from each speaker grew heavier with urgency. This was more than just a pitch. It was a reclamation of identity and purpose. As Sam wrapped it all up, he glanced at Emily and Lucy, who beamed back at him. Let us invest in something worthwhile, something bigger than ourselves. Let us not just chase numbers, but hearts instead. A heavy silence enveloped the room. Board members exchanged glances, their faces shifting from skepticism to contemplation. The emotions captured in the room felt palpable as they considered the weight of their words. Fresh hope blossomed. Finally, a member cleared their throat. "This is unexpected," he admitted, visibly shifting his thoughts. "But it might be the change we need. If we can create a connection with our audience, it could reinvent our brand." Relief washed over Sam like a tide, each heartbeat growing lighter. With a nod from Tom, it seemed their message was finally sinking in. "Let us form a committee to develop this direction further," the board members said, inspiring a ripple of agreement from others around the table. As the meeting wrapped, Sam felt an unexpected wave of gratitude wash over him. They had fought for authenticity, for connection, and in doing so, maybe they had begun to reshape their futures. He turned to Emily and Lucy, smiling brightly. They shared that moment, a unity he had longed for, a spark of something unbreakable. With the board's newfound direction in sight, Sam knew this wasn't just a win in the business world. It was a victory for their family too. He had fought through Storm's business dilemmas, personal pain, and emerged with clarity in his heart. As they exited the boardroom, Lucy tugged at his arm. "That was amazing. You were incredible, Dad." Sam knelt down, pulling her into a tight hug. "You inspired me, Lucy. You showed me what truly matters." Taking a step back, Lucy grinned ear to ear. "Can we have that trip now? I want to see the ocean." "Yes, let us plan it." Emily beamed, her voice filled with excitement. "It's a chance for us to celebrate this moment, to carve out a memory that reminds us of what we fought for." Sam's heart swelled with warmth. They were carving a new path together, one that would lead to laughter, love, and adventure away from the confines of their previous lives and into a vibrant future. And as they stepped into the sunlight flooding the hallways, he couldn't help but smile, because the best was truly yet to come. Now it's your turn. If this story touched your heart, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss the next exclusive stories that capture the essence of transformation. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm, because your support really matters. And don't forget to comment your reactions and feelings about this, and your thoughts are valuable. Share instantly this joyous journey with at least 5 friends who need to see this kind of transformation. Show your love for the channel, don't wait, not even one more second.